Welcome back. Despite travel curbs and more screening that is in place after Omicron variant has been detected in India, there are still shocking lapses that are coming to the fore. For instance, patient 0, who was the patient who infected Bangalore-based 46-year-old man, a doctor, a healthcare worker, has still not been identified. This and other aspects have given the opposition a chance to corner the government in the parliament. However, Health Minister Madhavdas also replied to all of these questions. Listen in.
सवाल ये है जब बच्चों और बूस्टर डोज के संदर्भ में हमारे एक्सपर्ट टीम ही तय करेगी और जो भी मार्गदर्शन हमारे एक्सपर्ट और साइंटिफिक हमें मार्गदर्शन मिलेगा, ये साइंटिफिक मार्गदर्शन के आधार पर हम आगे चलेंगे। ये मेरा क्लियर पार्लियामेंट के फ्लोर पर रिप्लाई है।
Let's take this across to our guests who are joining us. With us is Tuhin Sinha, who is a spokesperson of the BJP. Also joining us on the show is Professor Om Prakash Mishra, spokesperson of the TMC. Tuhin Sinha, coming to you first. The question is that we still don't know who is the person who infected that doctor in Bengaluru who did not travel outside the country in the first place. So if he was infected, say, on the 20th or the 22nd is when he first tested positive, or a few days before that, question is who is the person who infected him with the Omicron variant? We still don't know.
Good evening, Madhav. It is only natural for a virus to mutate in a pandemic, and Omicron at this point of time has been found in more than 25 countries. So it is quite possible that it exists in larger numbers, even over here, than reported, but genome sequencing takes its own time. So I don't think there is anything to worry. Also, given the fact that the symptoms are generally mild, the government is generally cognizant of the new threat, and all efforts are in place to tackle it. But the way the opposition behaved in Parliament today, please understand, the Honorable Minister was talking about the preparation for Omicron. And one of the very important preparations is to ensure that the double dose, the second dose of vaccine is given to as many people as possible. Now, there are 6 states which are particularly lagging behind, namely Punjab, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Jharkhand and Bengal. Now, instead of, blaming the center, instead of raising fingers at the center, I think the state governments, and I don't even need to mention who rules these states, would do well to spruce up the vaccination numbers to ensure that, the best protection is provided.
Okay. The question is that opposition was perhaps not behaving in a responsible way. Your response to that, Professor Mishra?
Well, I think that this itself is a very irresponsible statement that the opposition is behaving irresponsibly. Every political party, and let us admit it, every political party would definitely like all of us together here in this country and in the world to overcome the latest pandemic that has gripped the world, affected us so very badly, and then of course, which is a matter of great concern. So therefore, government is actually about accountability, and it is the job of the opposition to ask questions. If the government is so sensitive and it thinks that it cannot be asked any question, I think that actually should not be the approach, and in fact, Trinamool Congress has always opposed this type of an approach. Secondly, I would like to point out that to the question that you were asking the BJP spokesperson, that who possibly might have infected, we cannot possibly say.
Okay.
But at the same time, we must rely on our scientific community, government effort, common citizens, each of the governments. And let us not play politics. In the parliament, opposition has been raising questions because there was no structured discussion on one of the biggest crises that hit us. And so that is how and why it was necessary. And so why should the government shy away from the responsibility aspect?
Okay.
And I'm going to detail out what are those in the later
Absolutely. And Tuhin Sinha, look at the kind of videos that are coming in from airports. It's not just any one airport, but multiple airports across the country where passengers are coming out to say we're being made to wait for 6 hours, 8 hours, rapid RT-PCR test costs over 4,500 rupees. Now, that's a significant sum of money. The question that they are asking is that all of this, despite spending that much money, they are having to wait long hours inside these airport lounges, and that certainly is causing huge amount of discomfort and difficulty for those who are traveling after, long flights, for instance, from international sectors.
Again, Madhav, with due respect, the primary culprit over here was the Maharashtra government. In fact, yesterday, the rates that they had provided...
No, not Maharashtra. This is happening
for
in Delhi. It's happening across the country, not any one city. Let me correct you. And in fact, the BMC says that this is all mandated by the center, because what happens inside airports is controlled by the Civil Aviation Ministry.
It takes a couple of days to get our act together. In a country of the size of India, it will take a couple of days. But if you look at the past, even today, almost 2 years down the line, after the pandemic started, our death per million is the lowest in the world. The prevalence of the disease per million of population is the lowest in the world. So we are doing...
We'll have to leave it there. We're completely out of time. Tuhin Sira and Professor Mishra, I'd like to thank both of you for joining us. The debate is not over yet. Yes, of course, the opposition wants to put the government on the mat. We all, but as citizens, whether as state governments or the centre, all have to work together to defeat this particular variant. Certainly, we must not let our guard down. Slipping into a quick break for now.